All right, we'll get going. Welcome, everybody, to the July 8th, 2014 regular City of Griffin Board of Commissioners meeting. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Morra and the invocation by Commissioner Holberg.
Please join the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessing and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interests of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda presented this evening with one addition, item 30, and I quote, "Consider a resolution requesting the Spalding County Board of Commissioners include specified projects for the City of Griffin in the call for a referendum to be held on November 4th, 2014 for continuance of a 1% special local option sales tax and to provide for an intergovernmental agreement between Spalding County and the municipal corporations within Spalding County governing the collection, distribution, and use of SPLOST funds if approved at said referendum."
Second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Do we have any other additions or comments on approval of agenda?
I'd also like to add item number 31, consider discussion on Broadway Power Line project.
Repeat that, Doug, please.
Consider discussion on Broadway Power Line project.
All right, I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, approve the agenda as amended. We'll head into presentations and delegations. Item number 1, recognize retirement of Benny Dewberry, Residential Collection Operator 3 in the Solid Waste Division with 37 years of experience.
Wow.
Here we are again. We was figuring up, what was it, Doc? You and I were sitting talking this morning in the truck, and you'd lost how many hundreds of years experience, and we did the totals on mine, and I've lost it in our department 130 some odd, give or take, years of experience in the past 3 months. The city we just don't know what we've lost. I mean, it's tremendous amount of knowledge and tremendous amount of experience with some really, really good people, and it's bittersweet that I introduce Benny Dewberry and recognize him for his 37 years of experience, 37 years of service with the city. I sure don't like to do it, but Benny's a role model to what we look for in an employee, and he's just not going to be able to be replaced. As a man of faith, he's a man of integrity. He's a strong believer in his family, and had taken care of the folks that live in our community for 37 years without a complaint. I've been department head over there for 13 years, give or take, and I've never received a complaint with Benny on his route, never had any issues, but I'm proud to know him, and sad to see you go, but I want to wish you the best for you and your family, and that God will bless you, and you know where your other family is when you want to come with us. Congratulations. Thank you. You don't want to say that.
All right.
Benny's a man of very few words. It was hard to even get him to talk whenever we had a little spaghetti lunch for him the other day. But he'll be missed.
I'll go and say, I think when I first came on this board, that was one of the most impressive aspects that I learned was just the longevity of the employees that we had, talking about hundreds of years of experience in just this past year, and that's been consistent year after year. Turnover like that's hard to replace, and Mr. Dewberry, we wish you only the best in the next phase of your life, and we appreciate the dedicated service that you brought to the city.
Amen.
Yep.
All right, next item, recognize Robbie Dean, landfill manager with the Solid Waste Department, as the June 2014 Strongest Link Award recipient.
It's kind of cool. Up here 2 times.
Feel like Brant, don't you?
No. I would never even get close to that. Let me introduce you to Robbie Dean. Those of you that don't know him, he's our landfill manager, and he's the one that keeps us in compliance with the EPD and all of the other issues that we have to as far as our landfill construction, and making sure that we do all of our reporting functions and everything, keeps us out of trouble. I call it trouble, keeps us out of non-compliance issues with EPD. Recently our inspection brought us 100. The one before that was 97. As far as on the scale, we run a very tight, clean landfill. And when Kevin left to go on, we had a couple of really big projects that needed to be finished up. Robbie stepped up. He did everything that was required. Got the 2 new cells open, so we're expanded our landfill. We can take in we've got several years now that we don't have to worry about not having enough space. He's developed an outstanding rapport with our engineers and our geologists and all of our groundwater folks that we have to do with the thousands of dollars we have to spend to keep ourselves in compliance, and has saved us a ton of money with a lot of his innovations. I've been in the solid waste business for over 34 years in the private and public sector, and it's very difficult to find. I'm very hard-pressed to think of anyone that knows as much about dirt and how to get it done and runoff. And I mean, he just does an outstanding job, and I'm really proud that he was nominated. He's invaluable to us out there. He takes care of business. We keep up a 610-acre site with about 5 people and a few inmates, and keeps us where we're supposed to be. I'm very proud, and I just want to introduce Robbie Dean and give him a free meal and some in this thing here. Here's your bag.
You gotta wear it.
There, they want a picture.
You didn't say that?
Yeah, say something.
I appreciate it. Really don't have a whole lot to say. I try to do the best job I can and just move from day to day. I appreciate it, Joe.
Robbie, I tell you, I think I'll probably go back farther with you than anybody else here, but I remember being out there riding a pickup truck with you as you took me over that landfill, and with such pride that you talked about what was your baby, and we are just grateful that we've got you.
I appreciate that, Ms. Joey. I'm sure they do. Appreciate that.
All right, congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, next up is review financials for May 2014.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. First up, cash balance report. And just want to make a note that while the cash seems okay for now, we're going to be starting to deplete those numbers because of the expansions that we're doing at the water plants and treatment plants. Any questions?
It's going to start before we finish this agenda.
That's
Yes.
true.
Yes. All right, next up is the local option sales tax.
We did well, didn't we?
We did, we met our numbers, so we're looking pretty good. We got one more month to accrue for June for the local option sales tax, and
The $3,450,000, that's the original budget, isn't it?
correct.
So we're looking at now actually coming on target with the original budget.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So the motor vehicle tax did not,
did,
it
but-
took a toll, but it didn't, from projections, it didn't hurt us too much.
Not at the moment. Now, next year was 2016 when they plan on revising the allocation. So for this year coming, for 15, we have our estimates already built into the 15 budget. And we feel comfortable that those numbers will come in on target, though with some uncertainty. We do feel comfortable, we're cautiously optimistic, if you will.
Yeah. Good. That was a positive surprise.
It's not may not be as positive for the school board, however.
See.
He'll find out, won't he?
Yes, ma'am. And just for grins and giggles again, we included a copy of the SPLOST status report. Dr. Keller prepares this and compiles the information from the projects that he works on, so we've submitted this report again this time around. And again, these are as of May, so we have one more month to go through. All right, next item up will be the revenue detail report. And I'll be happy to entertain questions. And again, this is through May, so we have one more month to accrue.
Looking through those reports and the interim statements by fund reports,
Yes, sir.
there's some items, such as revenue streams, like electric, where we don't have each line item. There's some things have been bumped into the commercial, industrial. So you'll get those all adjusted with the audit time.
We are working with our customer service and utility billing department. They're aware, we've been aware, finance has been aware, Cogsdale has been aware of this issue to get these numbers allocated in the correct spot. Mr. Bill Bosch is aware of it, I'm aware of it, and we are working every day to resolve the issue. There's a complication to adjusting the billing rates tied to a billing code for history purposes, and that's the part that we're trying to work through. I'm trying to keep it simple because it can get complicated real quick. Yes, we are aware.
Okay.
Yes, we're
But like,
working on
there's
it.
that line,
Industrial, commercial, and
industrial,
residential.
commercial, and then there's also the fuel adjustment cost.
The PCA cost, yes,
Which-
that's the purchase power.
Things like that.
It doesn't look like we're going to meet our total revenue for the year. Going to fall a little short overall.
Yes. On the utility side for electric and possibly for water, yes. And we've taken initiatives to cut back on some of the larger scale projects. And we do have a list of rollovers that we're preparing for you for the next agenda on the 22nd. And we'll take that into account. And last up will be the revenue expense by fund.
And there in that fund, you've got like stormwater, you've got transfers in when it shouldn't have any transfers in, so all that'll be adjusted.
Actually,
the transfers in and out the way they're supposed to be.
The stormwater transfer in is a correction based on the audit results from the prior year. So that's a valid transfer in from the combined utility, because bear in mind, when we receive cash for the entire organization, it enters through the combined utility function. The cash then for stormwater is trued up in the subsequent fiscal year. So that $1.7 million transfer, I think that's what it is.
It was 796
Or
for the year,
790,000.
398 last month.
Yes, that's a true-up to get them back to where they need to be as a standalone unit.
And that fund will then show in a reserve account under stormwater restricted, or is it just cash flow?
Stormwater in general, by the nature of its function, is a restricted fund. So we cannot just use that across the board. Once that money goes in, that's it. Stormwater and stormwater only can touch those funds.
Okay, any other questions for Marcus? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go into citizen comments. At this time, the chairperson opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Do I have anyone on my left side that would like to come forward and address the board? Okay, anyone on my right side? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward and state your name and address.
I probably need a stool. My name is Elsie Booker, and I live in Carriage Hills. And I would like to know who my city commissioner is.
Depends which line
Well,
you
I'm
live.
the first house on the left, and I've been told about 4 different people, so that's the
Well,
reason.
it's either,
You got 2 of us.
Yes, yeah.
you actually got 3. There's an
Got the
overall.
large.
That's the reason I'm
Carriage Hill Drive, going
It's
through
a-
the middle. If you're on the north side, you're in my district, the south side's this.
Okay, it's the first house on the left
That
going
would
in
be-
Carriage off of
From the left.
Carver Road.
Off of Carver Road.
You're in my
Yeah.
district.
So now it's all 3 of you then.
Well,
No, it's 2 of us.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, what I wanted to,
I'm sorry, but what's the actual house address?
1602.
Okay, thank you.
We have a speed limit sign right as you go in there, and it's a 25-mile speed zone. And evidently it's not being enforced, but my neighbor has got a petition going around wanting speed bumps put in. And that would create a problem with water in the driveways. And also, it's not good on your cars. And if the speed limit was enforced, I don't think it would be, we'd have a problem.
Well, let me say this, speed bumps are illegal, we're not gonna do that, we can't do that.
Good.
But I think Mr. McCord and I agree that the chief sitting right there is happy to come enforce it if he knows there's a problem.
Yeah. But, also, I would like to thank Mr. Kenny Smith for taking care of my yard waste problem, because I have a problem getting them to pick up for some reason. But I pick up so much pine cones because I live right there on the corner and everybody stops and throws their trash out. So I pick up for the city a good bit. So, and I appreciate him getting that done, so. But that's my comments.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the chief's listening to you right there. Yeah.
Okay, anyone else that would like to, yes, sir.
Okay, my name is George Meeker, and I am a second resident of Carriage Hills. And I'm going to comment what Elsie said, because I live next door.
And what is your address?
George Meeker, I'm at 1604 Carriage Hills Drive. She is my next door neighbor. Many years ago, before my dad passed away, he told me sometimes things need to be done, and if you don't do it, they don't get done. Sometimes it's best to do it yourself. So I got it on my own, and I hobbled around the whole neighborhood up and down, and I have a petition here to give you with 30 signatures, including Councilman McCord's signature on it, okay? In the past year, since I've been there, they were speeding. I've been there more than 8 years. They speed down the road. I had a 25-mile-an-hour sign put up across the street naming that there are children down the street. Within the past 2 months, 2 mailboxes have been knocked over and replaced, and also a dog was killed across the street. The next thing that we're going to have is a child. We don't want that. We don't need to have a tragedy before we do something about it. I don't know if you agree or not, but we don't need that. The petition has been signed here by at least 30 people in the neighborhood, as Elsie said, maybe speed bumps, no, or law enforcement. They have tried law enforcement already. I have called Chief Heaton and Mr. Strickland both about this. They have come out there and done that. It's lasted about 3 or 4 days. But today, again, they did the same thing. The reason I'm doing this is because I take it upon myself to paint the sign of the subdivision out there so that it looks halfway decent. I have a standard, and I like to have my neighborhood look good. Elsie does too. In fact, she puts me to shame by keeping her yard so good sometimes. But either way, I have photos of it, okay? And I'd like to leave this with the chairman, with the petition. So in the event that we cannot get speed breakers on there, I have seen speed breakers, by the way, in downtown Williamson. I don't know what the law is regarding that, but I have seen they have graciously tried to enforce it for me. But I was told by, I think, one of our police officers that they don't have the resources to stay down there all the time to stop it. And again, I'm trying to stop a child from getting injured, okay? May I hand that to you?
Yeah, please, yeah.
You want to address speed breakers? We can't do them, right?
Okay,
So I'll conclude now, and if anything can be done, I would appreciate it, and I think the 30 people on that list would appreciate it also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, anybody else on my right side that would like to come forward and speak to the board? All right, hearing no one else, we will move into public hearings. Public hearings are conducted to allow public comment on specific advertised issues such as rezoning ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, or other legislative actions to be considered by the City Commission. And the first one up we have is to receive comments regarding an amendment to the Unified Development Code of the City of Griffin, Article 7, Table 7.3, zoning districts of the UDC to allow for a hospital or clinic as a special use in planned industrial development. Taurus Freeman will address.
Thank you. Currently, hospitals or clinics are permitted in mixed-use overlay neighborhoods, as well as the medical overlay district, and it's also as a special use in our institutional zoning classification. This right here will allow for hospitals to go within the desired classification, so therefore it can be operated for future and economic development.
Okay, this is a public hearing. If anybody would like to come forward to address the topic with the board, please raise your hand and have to come forward. Does the board have any questions for Taurus? Okay, seeing none, we will move to the next item. Receive comments regarding a special use permit to allow for a hospital to be located at Greenbelt Parkway, tax parcel number 039010004E, consisting of 12.75 plus or minus acres. Taurus?
Okay. Harvard Pickerington is requesting a special use for a hospital on Greenbelt Parkway. The property is currently zoned planned industrial development and is designated for light industrial type uses. The applicant states that the facility will be 15,000 square feet and will be a behavioral health crisis center. The facility will also have 30 beds and provide 24-hour access for residents requiring stabilization and care. The average length of stay is between 3 to 5 days, and the facility will be staffed by medical staff, including certified nursing assistants, licensed professional nurses, registered nurses, practitioners, physicians, licensed clinic staff, paraprofessionals, and support staff. Individuals receiving care may also receive laboratory services. The hospital pharmacy will be located on the site and be staffed with a registered pharmacist. The Planning Commission heard this request on June 23rd, 2014, and recommended approval.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Taurus?
Any conditions?
No, sir.
I'm going to comment. I'm familiar with this project, and it's a good one. It's over a $3 million building. This is a good place for it, and I understand it'll have over 90 jobs created with this project, so we could certainly use the jobs.
And also, this request hinges upon the approval of the Unified Development Code amendment for hospitals within that zoning classification.
All right, this is a public hearing. If anybody would like to come forward to address this topic, please raise your hand. Okay. Item 6, receive comments regarding a special use permit to allow for a non-commercial kennel to be located at 1112 Skyline Drive. Tarsh Freeman will lead.
Cynthia
Before you
McKeever.
begin, just to disclose, I have a family member that lives adjacent to this property, so I'll have to abstain from any discussion or vote. Thank you.
Cynthia McKeever resides at the property, which is zoned low-density residential, LDRB, and is designated for residential land uses. This special use permit is required to operate a non-commercial kennel for animals up for 5 or more animals. The applicant works with various animal shelters to save dogs from being utilized, and also the applicant personally owns 2 dogs that reside at the residence. This request will allow for a maximum of 3 temporary kenneled rescue dogs, and the applicant states that the kennel will average 1 to 2 weeks before they are sent to various rescue groups. The Planning Commission heard this request on June 23rd, 2014, and recommended approval.
Okay. This is a public hearing. If anybody would like to come forward to address this issue, please raise your hand. Come on up. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hey, Cindy McIver, and I live at 1112 Skyline Drive in Griffin.
Brett McIver, 1112 Skyline Drive.
And I guess I'll just give you a little bit of a history, a brief history. I've been rescuing dogs for about 1.5 years. I do have 2 of my own personal dogs, and didn't realize, and apologize that I didn't realize, that in the city you can only have 3 on your property. Did not know that until this past February. I was approached about 1.5 years ago by a rescue group out of New Jersey. They go on the Spalding County Animal Shelter's website and look for dogs. They have no adoptable dogs in several states up north due to the strict spay and neutering laws. So they go on our websites and find dogs that they think may be adoptable, and contact me, ask me to go pick up the dog. If I go pick up the dog, it immediately goes normally to Memorial Drive Vet Clinic, where on average they spend $300 per dog to be vetted, rabies tagged, checked for heartworm, any type of diseases, and treated for those diseases. They've saved, in the last 12 months, 364 dogs out of Griffin, spending an average of $300 per dog. The dogs, once they're vetted, they come to my home. I do have my 2 personal dogs, and I have 2 kennels in our backyard, which we have photos if you'd like to see that. They normally stay with me in maybe a week to 2 weeks at the most. Then they are transported up north. I've had dogs go all the way to North Dakota. 2 ladies drive down from Cleveland, Georgia, and transport them up north. Usually multiple dogs. I'd say that, like I said, they stay with me a week to maybe 2 weeks, and I have a petition from not a petition, but just a list of some of my neighbors that signed. Some of my neighbors didn't even know I did the rescue. Some wanted to know if they could help, and I did have some neighbors, Bob and Elizabeth Webster, that came and have been very supportive, and a lot of my neighbors have even donated food and blankets for the animals. And I'm only asking to be able to keep 3 rescue dogs at a time. That's really about all I can do, because I do have a full-time job with the county school system.
Any other questions for us? Taurus, is it 3 or 4 that you can?
The citation is a little confusing, because the citation says, that you could only have 3, but we tried to pull up the ordinance too, and it was a little bit confusing when you read it.
According to our Unified Development Code, it is up to 4.
Okay, that's what I thought it was 4. Okay.
And that's just animals, right? It's not just dogs.
I thought it was dog.
Kennels, yeah.
I thought it was dog specific.
Well, I have a problem with cats, so.
I think that's dog specific in the ordinance. I don't think it addresses cats.
Well, and just not to add anything to this discussion really, other than I'm looking at the citation.
Sir, would you bring the mic up so the
Sure.
audience can hear what
Sure,
you're saying?
Yeah, I have to fix back down on you.
Sure. There we go. Just to, not to add to the confusion here, but it says on this citation issued by the City of Griffin Police Department Animal Control Division, can you read that?
Can,
You can't have more than 3 dogs
in the city,
in the city
without
without a special use permit. But, I mean, not,
And he was actually the man that I usually get the dogs from, so he was very helpful and actually went and got the application for me. So they've been great to work with as far as the rescues.
but I think, so what I'm hearing is that we're asking for an increase of 1. We thought we were kind of stretching it by asking an increase of 2. And I'll say one more thing. It was unanimously approved by planning and zoning, I think.
Okay. Any questions for them? Comments? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to come forward and speak on this topic?
I'm Tina Thomas, and I live on Mockingbird Lane. This community, which is a great community, has a real issue with irresponsible pet owners not spading and neutering their dogs. And I think it's wonderful that we have somebody in the community who's a full-time mother, works, and who is willing to take it upon herself to devote time and money to an issue that really needs to be addressed even beyond this. But I hope that you will vote in support of them to increase the permit to allow her to keep 1 additional dog kennel in her yard. Thank you.
What was your address?
909 Mockingbird Lane.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Would anyone else like to come forward? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Sarah Jones. I live at 651 Laura Drive in Griffin, and also want to come in support of the MacGyvers and what they do for animals. We recently adopted a rescue dog as well, and know it's a significant problem, so we wanted to come here and support them in their efforts, and hope that you will vote in that way. Thank you.
Okay, let me confirm this. Because I was under the impression it was 3, but you're telling me for sure it's 4.
Yes, sir. According to Table 7.3 in the Unified Development Code, you can have up to 4 dogs. If you have 5 or more for a non-commercial kennel, you will have to receive a special use permit.
And how long is this good for? Forever, or until they move, or what?
Until they move.
It goes with the person, not with the house?
That's correct.
And Tar said,
I'm having a real trouble with this. I got barking neighbor dogs. I should have more dogs in the neighborhood, but.
From what I understand, I mean, you really have 2 issues here. You have, just the allowable amount of dogs themselves, but that doesn't separate it from potential nuisance type issue. That doesn't go away. People still have the right to complain or have any issues come up if the dogs are barking, that sort of thing. So, I mean, in the future, if the board decides to go with this, there's always the ability where if complaints arise that we could look at revoking the special use permit.
That is correct. There is a provision within the Unified Development Code that states any type of variance or special use permit that has been approved by the Board of Commissioners can be revoked.
Okay.
Right. One thing I would like to ask, if she has a full-time job, do you know if they bark during the daytime?
And I usually go home at lunch. But my neighbor next door, Mr. Al Chappell, lives at home. He's home all day long and loves to go out, and he will let me know. And I've never had a barking complaint. In fact, the whole reason I had to apply for this, and I said, were they barking? Because I would hate that, because I've had neighbors that have had barking dogs, so I know what a nuisance that is. And they said, I actually did the records release, and the complaint was the number of dogs. There's never been a barking complaint. If I have a barking dog, whether it be mine or a rescue, they're brought inside my home. I wouldn't tolerate that. I know how annoying that can be.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Okay, would anybody else like to, yes, ma'am?
I'm Dr. Karen Locke. I'm at 403 Maddox Road. And I just came to offer my support for Cindy and Brett. I know that they do a fantastic job. I've been working in rescue myself for almost 5 years, and it is a great need here. Spalding Shelter takes in more than 4,000 dogs a year. And at this point, I've been told that they can only hold a dog for 3 days before it's put down. And really, that's just not enough time to find those great dogs that need a home that would make a great companion. So they're doing a great job, and we need more people like them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? All right, hearing none, we will move on to our consent agenda.
Chairman, if there's no objection, I move we approve the minutes of the regular meeting scheduled June 10th as presented.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, unanimous. Going into the regular agenda. First item we have is consider a request to amend the Unified Development Code, City of Griffin, Article 7, Table 7.3, zoning districts of the UDC to allow for a hospital or clinic as a special use in PID, planned industrial development. And we had our public hearing on this.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the amendment as presented.
I second it.
Okay, I have a motion and second. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 9, consider a request for approval of a special use permit to allow for a hospital to be located at Greenbelt Parkway, tax parcel number 039010004E, consisting of 12.75 plus or minus acres.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the request.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 10, consider a request of a special use permit to allow for a non-commercial kennel to be located at 1112 Skyline Drive.
I move that we approve.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions?
The only thing, my daughter has a rescued dog, and I got to bond with Daisy Mae back in January and February, and she was a sweetheart.
My real problem is this, I think it's, and I congratulate the MacGyvers and all this, I think this is a wonderful project, but I just think it's a bad precedent to be putting kennels in residential neighborhoods. So it has nothing to do with the great work of this.
For clarification, under the Unified Development Code, it does allow as a accessory land use a non-commercial kennel for the housing of 5 or more dogs. There is no provision under the animal chapter of the Code of Griffin that puts any limitation on the number, other than you cannot create a nuisance situation. So you could have 1 dog be a nuisance.
Wait a minute. What you're telling me doesn't jive with what I've been hearing.
Well, I'm telling you what our code says, because I've been reading it over here.
So there is no limit.
There is no limit under the animal section, chapter dealing with animals in the code.
What about in the zoning?
And I think the reason we did that is you can keep multiple dogs inside the house as long as you don't have them in an outside enclosure, which is what the non-commercial kennel is. It's an outside accessory structure under the zoning ordinance.
Where did this up to 4 dogs come from then?
I don't know.
That's in the dogs and
It
cats.
sounds like it might have been a bad interpretation by an animal control.
I went on Muni Code and it's under dogs and cats as the section, so that's where it had less than 5 is what it stated, and then 5 or more, and that had some distance requirements and things like that involved with however you designate it from your neighbor's property.
It goes to the siting of the location of the kennel.
As far as numbers, not necessarily setting a precedent.
New information. Thank you.
Well, I was conflicted about when it came to me, but talked to some people, and as far as understanding the good work that's going on, I got a lot more comfortable with the situation and knowing how it's been operated to date. And I think there still is that separation of how you zone and, still the right of people when it comes to actual nuisances. And so I think I'm comfortable with giving it a go, under the concept that, if neighbors start to complain or that sort of thing, it still can come up as a code enforcement type issue. If there's any other comments? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, it is 6 with 1 abstention, 601. Item 11, consider approval of enterprise zone agreement with developer Ultima at Griffin LLC. The developer constructed a medical office building at 747 South 8th Street. Kenwin will address.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is for an enterprise zone agreement between the Board of Commissioners and Ultima at Griffin. Ultima at Griffin constructed a 20,000 square foot medical office that opened last year and consists of 4 suites. 3 of those suites are currently filled, and this was a part of the incentive package that was stated to the developer 2 years ago when this project started. So they received their first tax bill, came to the county and city, said, hey, where's our incentive? We had not formally approved of the enterprise zone, which came before you guys a few months ago. Now, the enterprise zone over the medical overlay district is now intact, and the applicant is asking for essentially the incentives that were promoted to them 2 years ago, which includes property tax abatement and some refunds on their various permits.
My question is a more technical one. If I understand this correctly, this was presented to them verbally. They took that
and writing.
and ran with it.
And in writing.
And in writing.
And in writing.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
But now we're almost in an ex post facto situation. Is there any problem with this time going back and reinstating, not reinstating?
I don't think there was a problem. We've looked at this very hard, but I don't think it's a problem going back retroactively to include and begin the tax abatement with calendar year 2013. That's the first year they really received the tax bill after they started construction.
Okay.
What apparently took place was the former planning director probably overstepped his authority. He didn't have the authority under your ordinance that you had adopted to make this offer. It's something that requires an action of this board. So what we're trying to do today is bring it to you so that you can make that determination as to whether they should receive this benefit.
Okay, so we don't have any problem with doing this on a legal or technical basis?
No, I don't believe so.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any other questions for Ken? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. All right, item 12, consider for approval the engagement letters for audit services with Maulding and Jenkins, certified public accountants, independent auditors for the city of Griffin. Maulding and Jenkins will complete annual audit, comprehensive annual financial report, and the OMB single audit.
I move we approve the engagement letters.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions from Marcus? They do a good job. All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Next item, consider approval of annual chemical bid awards for the Water and Wastewater Department of the Public Works and Utilities Department. Dr. Keller will address.
I move we approve Dr. Keller's chemicals.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions for Dr. Keller? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All those against? Cynthia, did you raise your hand?
I'm supposed with the group.
I think that's before. I think it's unanimous. Okay. I guess, Dr. Kell, this just starts a whole slew of kind of annual agreements and purchases since it's the beginning of our fiscal year, so we'll keep on going here. And next item we have is consider approval of task order form from Burns and McDonald for the hydraulic analysis study of the water distribution system in the amount of $251,900 for Water and Wastewater Department. Do you want to give us a little synopsis, a user-friendly synopsis of this?
Understood.
Layperson?
I got layperson version. What it does is models the system for, to make sure that you have chlorine in the outer reaches of both our system. You know, we have an integral system in all as far north as Sun City and as far as, you know, the Lamar County line. It also gives us our tank flowing requirements. It'll tell us how to flow the tanks, which are in direct relationship to pressure. It'll create a model that we'll be able to have for pressure zones as we begin to try to minimize pressure in certain parts of the county if available by design. Also includes the software also as part of that package. Once it's over, we will be the owner of that software package.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to, and I have a second. Any other questions for Dr. Keller? I think came in, actually come in under budget on that, what you put in, didn't you? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Consider approval of a task order with Paragon Consulting Group in the amount of $290,000 for the asset assessment of Harry Simmons Water Treatment Plant, Heads Creek Pump Station, and the raw water mains for the Water and Wastewater Department.
I'm going to move we approve. I got an explanation earlier today. Second.
The 15-minute version.
I questioned the dollars, and he convinced me that.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions for Dr. Keller? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. All right, consider approval of a joint services agreement with the United States Geological Survey for the City of Griffin stream gauging program in the amount of $55,905 for the Water and Wastewater Department.
Since we have no choice, I move we approve. Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Okay, consider approval of proposal from TrueCheck Utility Metering Solutions to read water meters in 2014-2015 for the Water Wastewater Department. This is for county only, isn't it? County only.
That's correct.
Meters.
I move we approve.
Have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions for Dr. Keller? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item 18, consider agreement with Sinagro Company for sludge hauling for the Water Wastewater Departments.
This is Commissioner Morris' favorite subject. So.
I love voting every year to remove sludge. And
Sludge and wiggins.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, that was a motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and second for sludge. Any questions for Dr. Keller? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Consider approval of an engagement letter from Raftellus Financial Consultants for Water and Wastewater Rate and Financial Planning Model in the amount of $20,000 for Water and Wastewater Department. Another annual expenditure.
Awesome.
Okay.
I'll move we approve. No one else does.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions for Dr. Keller? Hearing none, all that...
Well, yeah, I'd like to know, it seems like we just did this 2 years ago.
We do it every year.
We're doing it every year?
It's annual, yes, ma'am.
Okay, I didn't pick up the annual.
Okay.
Forget it.
Okay. All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous.
In my next life, I'm going to be a water consultant.
Consider a proposal from Premier Systems Design for PSD software support and development of Hyperweb work order management system in the amount of $20,000 for Public Works and Utilities Department. Dr. Keller will address.
Wow.
What was thinking? Do you want to, the Hyperweb, that's what we had a presentation on back in the spring. Is the dog just...
Yeah, I move we approve.
Yeah, it's part of the asset management.
Which one is this? This is item 21?
Yes, item 20.
20.
20. Oh.
Yeah.
20.
All right, I have a motion from Commissioner Warren.
I'll second it.
I have a second. Do you have any questions for Dr. Keller? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item 21, consider approval of task order form from Tetra Tech for the geomorphic assessments of Potato Creek, Shoal Creek, and Cabin Creek in the amount of $75,000 for the Stormwater Department.
Oh, I love geomorphology.
Make a motion to approve.
I second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions for Dr. Keller? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Consider task order for water tank maintenance 2014-2015 with Utility Service Group in the amount of $88,356.89 for Water and Wastewater Department.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions for Dr. Keller? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Consider approval of task order from Tetra Tech for the updating of the Stormwater Utility Credit Manual in the amount of $51,000 for the Stormwater Department.
Again, I got an explanation earlier, so I move we approve.
Is our water getting better?
Is the water getting better in some areas?
Okay.
Okay, I have a motion to second.
Is it a brand new manual, or is this a 51,000?
It's an upgrade, and it's also addresses the capital cost recovery fee, and also allows for a new addition for y'all to vote on. Also, not only do you get a water quality quantity credit, you'll get a water quality credit when you design your structure appropriately.
Did I have a second?
Second.
Okay, second. Any other questions for Dr. Keller? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Consider approval to award bid and contract to Match Point Tennis, lowest and best bid, for the construction and fencing of City Park tennis courts in the amount of $84,342. Dr. Keller.
I would like to approve that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second, and that's all 4 courts, Deborah courts?
There, the fence is coming down as we speak.
Fence,
Started
courts,
taking off.
lights,
Yeah,
everything. We're good to go.
Yeah.
Great.
What do we do with the old fence?
We'll make dog kennels.
Probably,
Just kidding.
we'll probably salvage it.
Okay.
I was shocked it came in as low as it did.
That's unbelievable.
It's about as much as the 2 courts were in the last bid. All right, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
We'll be rolling some money over at the next meeting
Right.
on
Will
this
be.
fiscal year to pay for that.
Because we were talking about the light bulbs for part. Okay.
And that was
Not-
put out for bids,
not
right?
sure
Yes,
if-
ma'am. 7.
Not sure if we'll roll it over from the lights from the park because they were in the electric budget. It might be simpler to just roll over the commission contingency that you haven't used from the general fund and pay for it that way, but we'll figure that out by the rollover meeting, next commission meeting.
Okay.
If it matters.
Will it have a rebound wall?
Doesn't matter to me, it just depends on that.
Great Eagle project, you could do one.
All right. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Consider approval of the acceptance of Raymond Head Junior Park from Aiken Speed and C to the City of Griffin.
This is a good deal. I like this, and I move we approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I think Commissioner Flowers second. Any questions or comments for Dr. Keller? We'll receive the donated property. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
If we stop maintaining that, does it revert back to the Aiken's family, or is it ours no matter what you do?
We own
They're
it.
gonna deed it over to us.
So there's no
Based
condition
on
on it?
this,
So there's no condition if we stop using it as a park?
No, so it'll be our property.
Need to get some nets on the basketball court.
Grass is looking better. One strand at a time.
All right. Consider approval of a resolution for acquisition and rights-of-way purchase for the North Hill Street and North Sixth Street intersection improvement. The project identified in the 2008 Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax for the Public Works and Utilities Department.
All right.
Yeah, happy to see this. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a motion second. Any questions for Dr. Keller? Has the owner, the Triangle, been made aware of the amount
We're working on it, sir. We're waiting for you for the resolution.
To be able to
That's correct, sir.
throw that out there? Okay. If there's no other questions, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous?
Thank you.
Wow, you're walking away with a big chunk of money.
When you grow up, you can be a consultant.
Approve the sale of excess capacity up to a maximum of 5.15 megawatts per hour at a cost of $39.81 per megawatt to the City of Noonan for a period of 5 years. Director Bosch will address.
Yeah, this is to pay for all the Brant stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Second Rodney's motion.
Commissioner
This will be about a $1.4 million credit to our MEAG bill and about a $7 million total over the 5 years.
Fantastic deal.
When
It is
did,
a big deal.
when did you start working on it? When did this first come to
This is probably 4 months in the making.
in the works?
So we have 4 or 5 others going, I just can't.
Fantastic.
And I like the time element.
Is it the city? Oh, no.
City of Noonan,
Okay.
yes. They acquired a new business, and through networking, we were able to help supply that customer.
Nice. Good. All right. Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, unanimous to accept their money.
Right.
Consider a contract with Renpro Construction Company, LLC, the lowest and most responsive bidder, for the construction of the Griffin Power Maintenance Facility to be constructed on the Thomas Packing property. Contract price $2,297,118 with a $50,000 contingency. Director Bosch will...
I am delighted we finally got this going and we get our equipment inside, so I move we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comment? How long has this been? I know this was before I got on the board. So this has been...
You actually started the process back February 26th of 2013, and we've been working on the print since then, and the result is sitting over the table if you have any, if you want to look at them after the meeting.
Yeah, the design started then, but y'all been talking about
For
this
decades.
project for...
Well, about, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions for Ms. Bosch? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous? Consider a resolution authorizing the execution of non-binding letters of understanding from time to time with Raymond James and Associates.
Effective last week on July the 1st, pursuant to a provision in the 2010 Dodd-Frank Act passed by Congress, the ability of a public finance banker to interact with their clients was radically changed. And now, in order for us to receive the same level of service that we've received from our financial advisor, who's this time and has for years been Raymond James Associate, who is a successor to Morgan Keegan, who is a successor to Bank of America, who's a successor to the old Lex Jolly Company. But it's the same personnel who have worked with the city since I believe Gordon Morton started in the late 50s, early 60s, and he's still with Raymond James and Associates. So in order to still fall back and rely upon their expertise in structuring not only our future bond issues or any public finance issue, not just bonds, but also in better managing our existing debt structure, public debt structure that we have out there, we need access to this source of information. And what we're required to do now is to enter into a non-binding letter of understanding, which a copy will be signed, assume you approve this resolution, by Kenny, hopefully tonight, and we'll be able to continue to call upon Raymond James and Associates as we have in the past. Now, when we get to the point of doing an actual proposed bond issue or other form of public finance, we also have to sign, when we did the ones, I think, 2 years ago, we had to sign what was called a G17 disclosure notice. That's a notice that the underwriter gives us, telling us all of the potentially adverse things that could go wrong in a bond issue, for example. But this is just another level of the SEC trying to protect us as an issuer of public debt.
This is another level of nonsense, because we're not bound to understand one another by this.
That's correct.
My wife and I think, signed one of those.
Won't go there.
We're not bound to understand one another.
Do we have a motion?
I move we approve.
Alternate, I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Okay, item number 30, our amended agenda. Consider a resolution requesting the Spalding County Board of Commissioners include specified projects for the city of Griffin and the call for a referendum to be held on November 4, 2014 for a continuance of a 1% special local option sales tax and to provide for an intergovernmental agreement between Spalding County and the municipal corporations within Spalding County governing the collection, distribution, and use of SPLOST funds if approved at said referendum. And
I move we approve item 30 as presented.
Okay.
Second with a comment.
I have a motion and a second.
You've got listed bonded on the third page in terms of the list. Does that need to go to the county in regards to whether it's going to be bonded or not? Or?
Yeah,
Yes.
It does.
we'll
Okay.
tell them what projects are being bonded, and I think Drew had some discussion with bond counsel today about the ability to put that in the same referendum vote without having to have a separate vote. Before he gets into that, though, let me explain the numbers on the final page. Those bonded projects, we estimated the interest and put it by project.
Worked in the debt service to
Right, for the debt
total
service
cost.
to come out with the same bottom line request that we had previously, which just made some slight alterations in the project numbers, but we came out with the same bottom line. So that's the difference in those numbers.
Okay.
And we estimated that because we couldn't talk to our
Raymond James
financial
without approval
consultant before you
to be able to
signed
talk to
that
him.
agreement that we just approved, so we had to kind of estimate what seriously.
Just split it out, prorated it out, basically.
Right.
and-
So now will you correct it before it goes to the county?
Yeah, we will get some final numbers, but we think we're pretty close, but we'll get, the bottom line's gonna be the same, and some of those numbers may fluctuate by projects, but, I mean, all of this is an estimate anyway, and in the way you deal with SPLOST, you just have to estimate because you're approving it now, and you may do it 3, 4, 5 years from now, so you really don't know what those costs will be. But they will not be able to exceed those estimated costs. And Drew talked to them about the wording of the referendum.
We've
so.
gone back and forth between myself, Jim Pennell, who's the city's bond counsel, and also Floyd Newton, who's the county's bond counsel. And the county will actually put together, through Floyd's assistance, the wording of the ballot to be voted on in November. But we can do this with a single ballot question, so we don't have to have two questions as we contemplated this morning. So I think that's good positive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one question.
So you can actually combine it into the SPLOST vote itself. Okay. Good. All right, any other questions for Drew, or?
Did we make a motion?
You did, yeah, you seconded.
We have a motion and a second.
Yeah, we approved.
Hearing no other questions or comments, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, unanimous. Item 31, consider discussion on the Broadway Power Line project.
Thank y'all for allowing us to discuss this. Excellence by Design was the theme of the Georgia Municipal Association, and Ken Wynn did a presentation at our district meeting, as well as us being spotlighted for the efforts of cleaning up the Broadway corridor. And sitting there with other commissioners just thinking about how this could really impact this area. You now have Aikens Feed and Seed closed down there for the potential redevelopment, and would like for, I know it was a close vote before, but would like for us to reconsider letting MEAG look at other options in regards to getting this rerouted from going down the center of our Excellence by Design project.
So we are just gonna look at, looking at it again. You're not asking for a vote to deny what we've already voted for.
I would like to deny the current plan and have them come back to the drawing boards with another option. And Bill might have a few comments and ideas.
The only thing I would remind the board is that your vote last time was just a vote of support of the project. I just wanted to be clear that they can do the project regardless of the decision of the board. Of course, they would want to work hand in hand with the City of Griffin and with the City of Griffin Electric. So I've already spoken with MEAG, and they have no problem with going back and looking at a redesign.
So maybe just a vote to have us go back and take a look at a redesign, and we'll bring back another suggestion if possible at a later date.
All right, I would be willing to go back and look at another design. I would not be willing to have that vote overturned.
That's the way I feel. I don't know if we need a vote. I'm okay with them bringing the alternate design back, but
I thought we were told there were no alternate designs other than underground and above ground through the...
We have and that's correct, Mr. Smith is 100% correct. The only other option would be on existing right-of-ways. Of course, any option is going to cost millions of extra dollars, which I believe that they're not going to fit the bill, but it's always worth going back and taking a look at it, and if there's not an option, I'll come back and tell you that there's not an option.
well, I'm willing to look at options. I'm not willing to vote to undo or change anything.
I'm not either.
No, I was on the losing side of that vote, and personally, I do not want it at all. But I think it's important to hear from the people that were on the winning side of that, as far as a motion to reconsider the vote itself. So.
I think one of the things you might see is one of the alternatives was through a residential area. If you remember those maps we showed, I don't think that is a good alternative, but we can bring, I'll meet with them, I can bring some good, bad, and the ugly back to you. And
well, you're asking
so
probably two of our commissioners ultimately to let it run through some of their residential districts, which I think would be difficult to...
Yeah.
I'm asking for not doing it at all, just going back to the original conversation.
What I hear him saying is it doesn't matter whether we vote yes or no, they're going to do them anyway.
But
they can, of course they want to work with you. My suggestion is just asking us to go back and look at the design one more time, and then we'll if we can bring an alternative, we will. If we can't, then where we're at.
I don't think you need a vote to look at all their design.
Okay. I think it's clear, maybe just have an agreement that I'll go back to MEAG, we'll take a look at the design, see if there's anything else that we can do, and if there is, I'll bring it to the board.
Right, and this can be as a courtesy to those commissioners, which I have no problem with that. But I do not want the vote, it has been voted on.
Again, you're going to look at an alternative to put them somewhere else other than down the...
Right, I mean, we have the existing routes. Again, I can shoot you some information via email or something just on the stuff you've already seen. What I'm going to investigate is see if there's any other possibility of using existing right-of-way, transmission right-of-ways. This would add miles to the project and I can simply ask, is this a cost that they're willing to take on? I don't want it to cost the city of Griffin anything, but we'll take a look at it, see if we can use existing transmission right-of-way, and if not, then we're at where we originally agreed.
And what is our timetable here, Bill?
I'll bring you back something within a couple months.
No, I mean, what was the original timetable for it to start?
It's under design.
It is under
they're
design.
Actually in the right-of-way acquiring process.
Okay.
So they're starting to contact customers, and I've asked them to cease until we can have this discussion.
Okay, so it will be a delay. All right.
But I'll talk to them, and I can bring back information probably within a couple months to you.
I guess my question is that the line really absolutely necessary. The odds of having an outage is slim to none. You have a better chance of getting drowned on a whitewater rafting trip down to Chattahoochee than you do for the power going out. And
if you're looking at the history of past outages on those substations, then yes, there's not a lot to justify it. But it's just like insurance. I mean, you have it there when you need it. So if you have an entire substation that's out, then we might get into some type of FERC discussion because they've identified the need and then we didn't do it. So.
All right, how far out does it go? Does it go as far out as the industrial park?
It is mainly, it can.
Substation 1, Substation 2 are mainly our downtown areas, but we can feed out that far.
I voted with the majority before, but I have some second thoughts about the actual, after really seeing what it's gonna be, how big they are in that corridor. I kind of have some concerns about that.
But you know now, who were the 4 votes?
It was you, Cynthia, Rodney, and Duke.
All right, but now Doug has brought it forward. He was on the losing end. I don't think that was an appropriate thing to bring, was it? I thought you said one from the original, the winning side had to bring it forward.
That's what I was bringing for discussion. I think you're right. I mean, I feel the same way, that it would need to come from the winning side.
Yeah, it's...
As far as any motion to overturn.
Well, they're already acquiring right-of-way and designing the thing. We should have...
Well, the right-of-way is the railroad, isn't it?
What was that?
I mean, it's basically the railroad, isn't it, as far as...
No, there's some landowners that they have to acquire
They haven't
permission.
started on anything.
No, they're just starting the legal process of talking to those customers. But they've halted everything as this discussion has come forward.
I think there's some other options to get to that, whether it's follow the existing power line back to North Griffin where the existing right-of-way is and come back in approximately opposite Pelly Street in that wooded tract, shoot it to Cersei Avenue and then back into the back door, which would be...
Well, this is something that you'll bring forward. I don't think there's something that we can make any decision on tonight. I think this is a discussion for a workshop in the future so that we have all the options and everything that's laid out for us.
I think a reasonable concern has been brought up, and I think I can go back and with MEAG, we'll take a look at everything again. We'll see if there's any alternatives, and then in a couple months I'll bring it to you. Then possibly you can make a decision.
Right then, at the time, if it could be perhaps be brought forward or not.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It's reasonable. Whatever we can look at adding on to the next workshop and bring back thoughts. And if anybody from the winning side has a notion, I feel like to reconsider it more.
And the Downtown Development Authority coming to us in terms of their position.
Well, I've already discussed it with MEAG, so we're in the process. So I'll see you in a couple months.
Goes down.
Oh, that's okay, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will, that ends our regular agenda. City Manager's report.
Just want to quickly remind you of the Otshuka groundbreaking, not grand opening, but groundbreaking that will be on Tuesday the 15th at 10 o'clock, business attire. I know there'll be 2 or 3 of us that will be at the MEAG meeting, but for those of you who can't attend, I believe the governor is going to be down to speak along with our chairman.
Atsuka.
I've been saying Atsuka. Is that how you...
Atsuka, that's what
I
David
think
Leck
so.
called it.
Yeah, I think that's close anyway.
Okay.
In Southern American terms, that's what it is.
You're going to be going to the meeting time?
Yeah.
Commissioner McCord?
I only have one thing. I just want to publicly say that I had a better time in the Peachtree Road race than Commissioner Ford Flowers. That's all I wanted.
Did you wear a tutu also?
My outfit was cuter.
There you go.
And you were only about a minute in front of me, so I wouldn't really brag about that.
I told you before, I was just make sure that
My feet are damaged.
Did he run?
I don't know what he did because
He
he
took a
didn't
lot of
tell me that
pictures.
halfway through he stops walking. He just starts walking and he doesn't run anymore. So I'm not, that was his
He wasn't even
secret.
sweating in the
Yeah, so I'm not really sure what he
He
did.
offered me free
And I
hospice
stopped
if
to eat a
I ran.
popsicle, so that makes
Next
up for the
person,
fact that I got there later.
My time was better than hers. You did hear it.
She had wind resistance.
There's facts, Rodney, and you've laid out the facts.
Chief Heaton will be my guest tomorrow morning on the program, and I'm looking forward to a good discussion about him and what his observations are in the first few months of being in Griffin.
Okay.
Just proud how we keep working together in regards to SPLOST, and it seems like we've got our boat going in the right direction, while other governments seem to sometimes be a little heavy at the keel or other places. So thank y'all for y'all's efforts to keep working together.
Commissioner Todd?
Other than the fact that, what Doug said is true. We're working well together as a team, and we've got the citizens of Griffin at the heart of everything that we're doing, and, I'm glad for the vote for the rescue dogs tonight.
Commissioner Flowers?
I agree with the sentiments about working together. That's it.
All right. Commissioner Wood?
No comment.
All right, now no comment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned, second.